I never thought I'd be that guy, the one who gets blindsided by the woman he's about to marry, but here I am. My name's Mike, and I was, up until a couple of weeks ago, madly in love with Lisa. We met in college, hit it off right away, and for years it seemed like we were made for each other. Everyone around us thought we were perfect. She was smart, beautiful, confident, a little bitchy sometimes, but in a way that was charming. I was that guy who thought I'd never have to worry about losing her. Everything was fine until about 3 months before the wedding. I started noticing small things. She'd be extra secretive with her phone. Her stories about where she'd been or who she'd been with didn't add up anymore. Little lies here and there, nothing major at first, but enough for me to feel that gnawing doubt. I brushed it off, told myself she was busy, stressed. But then I found her phone one night, unlocked on the couch, and I saw a message from some guy named Jake. It was just a quick thing. Can't wait to see you tonight, and a suggestive emoji. I froze, heart pounding, suddenly realizing that maybe she'd been lying about everything. That's when I started paying more attention. Over the next couple of weeks, the signs got worse. She'd go out with friends and come back late, smelling like perfume that wasn't hers, and her stories about her day would change. One day I found a lipstick stain on her collar that wasn't mine. It felt like a punch in the gut. I was angry, confused, betrayed. I mean, we were about to get married, and I was just realizing she'd been cheating on me for who knows how long. The worst part, she kept lying, acting like I was crazy if I even hinted at her being unfaithful. I couldn't take it anymore. I knew I had to confront her, but I didn't want to do it without proof, so I started digging. I checked her phone when she wasn't around, looked at her social media accounts, and everything pointed to the same thing. She was sleeping with Jake, my best friend, no less. I couldn't believe it. My mind kept racing. How long had this been going on? Did she ever really love me? Was I just some fool that she used until she found someone better? That night when I saw the messages, I felt my stomach turn. I was furious, hurt, and completely lost. All the trust I had placed in her crumbled in a second. The next day, I knew I couldn't keep pretending that everything was okay. I had to confront her, but honestly, I wasn't sure what I was expecting. Part of me wanted her to deny it, to say I was wrong, that I was overreacting. But deep down, I knew better. I had seen the texts, the photos she thought I hadn't noticed, the way she'd been acting distant and guilty. Still, I needed her to say it out loud so I could hear it from her own mouth. I waited until she came home from work, trying to block out the nausea twisting in my stomach. When she walked in, I was already sitting on the couch, phone in hand, trembling a little. She looked at me, all confident and bitchy, like she had some kind of shield ready. She always had that look, like she was better than everyone else, especially me. I looked her dead in the eyes and just laid it out. I know you've been cheating on me with Jake, don't even try to deny it. Her eyes widened for a second, then she scoffed, rolling her eyes. Oh, please, Mike, you're being dramatic. Just because you saw a few texts doesn't mean. Save it, I cut her off. I saw the messages, I saw the pictures. You've been lying to my face for months. How long has this been going on? A year, too. She shrugged, a smirk curling on her lips. You don't know what you're talking about. You're overthinking. You've always been paranoid about me, but this isn't real. It's just sex, Mike. Nothing serious. Jake's just a guy I met at a party and things got out of hand. It doesn't mean I don't love you. That was when I felt something snap inside me. Her words, her bullshit, I'd heard enough. I felt rage bubbling up. How dare she act like everything was normal, like she hadn't been screwing around behind my back. I told her I'd had enough, that I couldn't do this anymore, that I wasn't some fool to be played. I told her I deserved better, that I was done and I was leaving. Her reaction? Oh, she flipped her shit. Started crying, yelling at me, calling me jealous, insecure, saying I'd ruined everything. She lied about how it meant nothing, how she was just lonely, how Jake was just a rebound, that she didn't really love him. The more she pleaded, the angrier I got. I saw her true colors that day, bitchy, manipulative, completely selfish. The woman I thought I knew, the woman I was about to marry, turned out to be a liar and a cheat. And I was left there, staring at her, feeling like my world was crashing down around me. After that confrontation, I felt like I was walking through a fog. Part of me wanted to believe her, to somehow find a way to forgive her and move on. But another, much louder part of me knew I'd been played for a fool. I had invested so much into our relationship, dreams of a future, trust, love, and she had just thrown it all away with Jake. I kept replaying the things she said, the way she lied so easily like it was nothing to her. That bitchy, manipulative attitude of hers just made everything worse. I started thinking about what to do next. Honestly, I felt numb, like she'd stolen a huge part of my life, and I didn't know if I could ever get it back. I wanted to lash out, to do something to make her hurt like she'd hurt me, but I knew that wouldn't fix anything. So I started planning my revenge. Not just some petty revenge, but something that would really send a message, something she'd never see coming. I needed her to understand that I wasn't some fool to be discarded or cheated on without consequences. I began digging deeper. I needed proof that she'd been lying about everything. I checked her phone again, looking for more signs, more messages from Jake or anyone else. I found things I hadn't seen before, secret conversations, flirtatious texts, even photos. It was clear she'd been hiding quite a bit. I also started monitoring her schedule, watching her come and go, looking for opportunities to catch her in the act. The more I found out, the more furious I became. I realized she was not only cheating on me, but she was also trying to keep her secrets hidden, acting like she was the innocent victim. At the same time, I had to keep my emotions in check. I didn't want her to see me break down, not yet anyway. I needed a plan, something calculated that would make her regret ever crossing me. I started gathering evidence, tidbits of information that I could use to make her pay. I knew she was a bitch. She'd lied, manipulated, lied some more, and now I was just trying to figure out how to turn that around on her. I had to do something big, something that would shake her to her core, because frankly, I didn't think I could trust her anymore. Not after all the lies. Not after she betrayed me with Jake, my best friend. The betrayal felt like a punch to the stomach every time I thought about it. Once I had a decent amount of evidence, I knew I couldn't just confront her again without a plan. I had to make her realize that I was serious, that I wasn't going to be another guy she could string along or toss aside. I began planning how to execute my revenge, not just to hurt her, but to make her see that her lies and manipulations had consequences. I wanted her to feel what I'd felt, the betrayal, the loss, the total shattering of trust. I decided I'd set a trap. I started making arrangements to catch her in the act when she least expected it. I wanted to find her with Jake again, or at least get undeniable proof that she was still lying and cheating. It wasn't hard to follow her when she went out, and I even managed to plant a few hidden cameras in the apartment. I was meticulous, patient. I wasn't going to ruin her life immediately. I wanted her to realize she'd crossed a line that couldn't be uncrossed. In the meantime, I prepared my confrontation. I knew I couldn't just walk in and yell at her, not yet. I wanted to make her uncomfortable, to corner her into admitting everything. I started leaving little clues around the house, her favorite jewelry in strange places, her lipstick stains in areas I knew she'd find, even leaving my phone out with some of her messages pulled up on the screen. It was all about making her realize I was onto her, that I knew everything she'd tried to hide. One night, I finally set up the perfect moment. I waited until she was supposed to be out with her friends. Then I texted her from a burner number, pretending to be someone threatening to expose her if she didn't come clean. That's when she panicked, calling me nonstop, denying everything but obviously sweating. I kept playing along, egging her on, knowing I had her right where I wanted. The next morning I found her frantic, trying to act innocent, but the look in her eyes was different, guilty, scared, like she knew her world was about to blow up. That was the first time I saw her truly shaken. I was ready to show her that the game was over and that her lies had consequences she couldn't escape from. The time had come. I gathered all my evidence, the texts, the photos, the recordings from the cameras, and I prepared for the inevitable showdown. My plan was simple but brutal. I was going to lay everything out in front of her, make her see that I knew all her secrets, and then give her the choice, own up or lose everything. I wanted her to feel the full weight of betrayal, to see her squirm and realize that I was no longer the fool she thought I was. I called her to the living room, her face tense, eyes darting around like she was trying to find an escape. I didn't hold back. I pushed play on my phone, streaming the evidence for her to see. Her face paled as the truth unraveled in front of her, screenshots of her sending Jake explicit messages, videos of her sneaking out late at night, and even the photos I had secretly taken of her texting him in bed. She tried to deny it at first, stammering, calling it all a mistake, a misunderstanding. But I wasn't buying it. I told her I knew she'd been lying from the start, that she'd been cheating for months, maybe longer. Her reaction was a mix of anger and tears, but mostly she was pissed off. She spat at me, calling me jealous and paranoid, trying to turn everything around, saying I'd ruined her reputation. "You don't understand," she yelled. "Jake means nothing. It's just sex and he's just a rebound. I love you, why can't you see that?" But I was buying her bullshit anymore. Her face was twisted with rage, the bitchy attitude coming back strong, even as she begged, pleaded, and tried to manipulate her way out of it. I told her she had two choices: own her shit and accept the consequences, or walk away and never contact me again. I knew I'd be better off without her, but I also wanted her to understand that she'd lost me, not just as a husband, but as a person who ever trusted her. I walked out that day knowing I'd finally shut that chapter of my life, but I also felt a mixture of relief and deep sadness. I'd been betrayed in a way I never expected, by the woman I was supposed to marry and my best friend, no less. That night, I stayed up thinking about everything: how I let someone so manipulative into my life, how I trusted her blindly, and how she played me like a game. The pain was real, but so was the clarity. I finally saw her for who she really was: a selfish, lying bitch who thought she could get away with anything. I realized that sometimes the only way to truly move on is to cut ties completely and learn from the pain. I don't regret exposing her. If anything, it's a wake-up call for anyone else who's been blind to the truth. Trust has to be earned, and when it's broken, it's almost impossible to get back. In the aftermath of everything, I felt like I was walking through a storm that just wouldn't clear. I moved out of the apartment she shared with me, packed up my things, and cut all contact. Honestly, I felt numb most days, like I was trying to find pieces of myself after someone had deliberately shattered them. I had trusted her completely, and she had thrown that trust away with Jake, with her lies, with her manipulation. It was a brutal lesson, but one I needed, about honesty, about boundaries, and about not letting anyone treat you like you're disposable. Looking back now, I realize I've learned a lot from this whole mess. First, never ignore the little signs. Those small lies or suspicious behaviors don't go away on their own. They build up, and eventually they blow up in your face. Second, trust is a fragile thing. Once it's broken, no amount of apologies can fix it. And third, revenge isn't about hurting her just for the sake of it. It's about reclaiming your dignity and forcing her to face her own actions. I didn't want to be some guy who got played and then sat around feeling sorry for himself. I wanted her to see that she lost someone real, someone who deserved honesty, respect, and loyalty. I've moved on. It's not easy and it's not quick, but I'm better off without her. I'm focusing on myself now, working out, reconnecting with friends, and trying to rebuild what I thought I'd lost forever. Honestly, the betrayal has made me more cautious, more aware of red flags, but also more resilient. I don't carry the anger like I used to. Now I carry the lessons. I know I'll find someone someday who values honesty and loyalty, and I'll never let myself be blindsided like this again. To anyone reading this and going through something similar, I can only say this: trust your instincts. Don't ignore the signs. When someone shows you who they really are, believe them. And if they betray you, don't be afraid to fight back, to stand your ground, and to walk away. Because in the end, the only person responsible for your happiness is you. And no one, no matter how bitchy or manipulative, deserves to take that away from you.